But the design of these chess pieces isn't solely aesthetic. It can actually affect the outcome of a game.
Affect the outcome of a game?
Are
what?
Also essential by lowering the chances a player will make a mistake.
If you see in the
With every shaving and small incision, master artisans turn these trunks of wood into 32 hand-carved chess pieces. You can pick up a plastic set for $20, but a wooden set certified for the World Chess Championship costs $500. Much of the value of a high-quality set comes down to how well just one piece is made. The knight. There are less than 10 people who are trusted to carve the knights for the official World Chess Championship sets. So how are these?
Whoa, they're saying there are only 10 people in the entire world who can make the knights? That's insane. That's nuts. The knights are what makes the set. Wait, so why is the knight harder than a bishop, for example? Like is it just because it's because of the formation of like you have to do like lines on like at the bottom, at the top, like all over the edges, all over the place? Because of the curves? Okay. Because the rest is round. Okay, all right. Yeah, because you have to do a bunch of them. You have to do like little cuts here, all over the piece. Okay, makes sense.
These chessmen made, and why are they so expensive? At this factory in Amritsar, India, artisans carve the pieces for the official World Chess Championship sets. And the factory produces only 250 of them each year.
True.
Artisans train over 4 to 5 months, learning to masterfully shape each figure. These small blocks of boxwood were once large trunks, dried for 3 to 6 months, cut down, and shaped to the necessary size. Each block is attached to a lathe, which turns the block rapidly before artisans begin to carve.
Wow.
Artisans use particular steel tools, called cutters, designed to make the proper cuts and overall shape of a chessman. Once the cutter makes contact, it immediately changes the wood, and any slight misstep could ruin the final shape of the piece. No piece is more difficult to produce than the knight. While other pieces are carved in just a few minutes, a single knight takes 2 hours to produce. Less than 10 people are trained to craft knights for these championship sets.
सर ये घोड़ा बनाने ਨੂੰ 10 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ सर ये बड़ी मेहनत से काम सिखाया ਜਾਂਦਾ 5-6 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ काम सीखने टाइम लगा.
Compare that to the 4 to 5 months it takes an artisan to learn how to carve the other chess pieces. But unlike these other chessmen, the knight isn't an abstract
but it makes sense because actually, as I'm looking at the rook here, it's just like, yeah, because it's all circular, right? It's all circular. It's like, yeah, it's circular, but it looks like a very straightforward process, like on the rooks. So now it starts to make more sense about the whole thing with the knights. It totally does.
But unlike these other chessmen, the knight isn't an abstract representation of a medieval figure. It's designed to look like a realistic horse head. It's the most detailed of all the pieces. Each carving is intentional, from the hair on a knight's tail to the curve of its neck.
Wow, this is sick.
गला बनाने वास्ते पूरी गलाई करने वास्ते भी टाइम लगदा ये वाली साइडां इन्हां ते भी टाइम लगदा.
The quality of the final piece largely depends on the skill of the artisan. A top-quality knight must be completely symmetrical.
पे पूरा रेगमाल भी बिल्कुल ठीक लाया कान भी बराबर है गया नासा भी ठीक है गया वा ये चीज़ भी बिल्कुल बराबर है गई है इन्हां दे चलो ये है बराबर दे जानी कि एक ना एक कूड़ा हर एक चीज़ मिलती पई है जिन्ना जानी कि देख लियो.
But it's just as important that all 4 knights in the set look totally uniform. Otherwise, the set altogether won't be nearly as valuable. According to the House of Staunton, a large manufacturer of chess sets, a set of finely carved knights can represent up to 50% of the total cost of the chessmen. The other chessmen have specific height and width requirements, designed by architect Daniel Whale. The king must be the tallest, at 95 millimeters, and have a base that's 39 millimeters wide, the largest of them all. The pieces have defining characteristics, like the king's crown or the refined jewel at the top of the queen's coronet. These distinct features require more time and effort for the carver. The king's crown in a championship set should have 8 small cuts and be slightly rounded along the edges. Compare this king to the king of a regular set, which has a much simpler, straight-edge design. Pieces with even...
But which one do you guys like more? Which one do you like more? Do you like this one, or do you like this one? The right, I mean, the right is easier to hold. That's true. Actually, the base on the left is probably harder to move it. That's definitely true. I kind of agree with that part. So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they both look pretty nice. It's true that actually the one on the right has the felt on the bottom, right? It's got the little green felt, which probably, does that make it easier or hard? That probably that's a little bit easier. I mean, I've used both, I think, but which one do I like more? I think they're both amazing. In terms of stylistically, it's difficult. Like I'm not a high-end fancy guy, so I probably, because I grew up playing with a lot of the cheaper sets, I probably would prefer the one on the right. But objectively, I have spent probably the last couple of years, at least since like 2016, I have seen this set much more. It's literally 50-50. I think probably I would say the only reason I would say tournament is because I grew up playing on the cheaper sets. That's probably the only reason that I would say that. But do I own any of these sets? No, I don't own an official set. I own one of the House of Staunton sets from one of the Sinkfield events. I don't remember which year it was, which I think retailed for like 1,500 or something absolutely insane. So I do own one of them, but not this specific set. So yeah, that's what I say. It's 50-50, by the way. It's like exactly 50-50. The championship one is too yellow. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think both designs are pretty good. It's exactly like 50-50. So it's like 51-49 for tournament over championship. Pretty insane. Have I ever made my own set, you guys? No, I am not a carpenter, you guys. I'm not a carpenter. So no, I have not made my own set. I mean, these guys probably spend like 6 months. 6 months to a year training. I mean, like, it's serious. Not yet. Right. So tournament wins by 17 votes. 1,356 people prefer the tournament set. 1,339 prefer the championship set. So basically that's crazy. So 17 vote differential. So it's really 50-50. Yeah. Amazing.
Simpler designs than that, like a rook, take these artisans 7 times longer to produce compared to regular chess sets.
If the chessman is like of a championship set, then we are only able to make 25 to 30 kings in a day because it's a very special design. If we are talking about making chessmen for tournament players, which are used in vast quantities, then a carver is even able to make 200 to 250 chess kings in a day.
But the design of these chess pieces isn't solely aesthetic. It can actually affect the outcome of a game. Each piece must be the correct height, the king being the tallest, followed by the queen, bishop, knight, rook, and pawn.
Affect the outcome of the game?
Are
what?
Also essential. By lowering the chances a player will make a mistake.
If you see in
oh my god. Did I really just hear that? That basically if the king is like 1 centimeter lower, you're gonna look over the king and you're gonna make a mistake. It's because the piece is not precise, so the piece was a little bit too short. Okay, that's oh my gosh, that's like the greatest thing ever. Let me go back.
The detailed features are also essential. By lowering the chances a player will make a mistake.
If you see in medieval ages, the chessmen were not really in a good form. The chessmen were round, some of them were spiral, the knights were not even carved in the shape of a knight. In this form you can see the kings properly, the knight very distinguished, the bishop has a mitre cut, the queens is very sharp. So you can easily distinguish between all the 6 pieces.
This is known as the Staunton design.
Well, I mean, what he says is not wrong, except he's talking about games from like, I mean, the guy's like talking about games from the medieval ages from like the 1200s. So it's a little bit different, but he's not wrong. It's just the way they worded it. It just sounds really silly. But I will say some of those old sets, like the Chessman set from like, is it the UK? What is it? Chessman set? What is it called? The Lewis Chessman set is like really expensive. So like there's this article on Forbes, and it said, I mean, this was from 2019, July 4th, 2019, so almost exactly 2 years ago. And like this piece, this chess piece, it says, you know, what's it say? It says an unnamed buyer has bought the missing Lewis Chessman piece at a London auction for £735, $925,000 US. Until recently, its previous owners had no idea of the item's value, as the family's grandfather had bought the piece for just £5 in the 1960s. Nice. Crazy. Kept safely in a drawer. Despite working as an antiques dealer, the grandfather reportedly didn't know of the item's significance when he passed it on to his family, who kept it in a drawer for more than half a century. A family spokesman said in a statement from Sotheby's auction house that the woman who inherited the piece was very fond of it, keeping it carefully wrapped. She believed that it was special and thought perhaps it could even have had some magical significance. From time to time, she would remove the chess piece from the drawer in order to appreciate its uniqueness, said the spokesperson. Sotheby's expert Alexander Cater said the rediscovery was one of the most exciting he'd ever seen in his career. The 3.5-inch high piece is a warder, styled as a man with a helmet, shield, and sword. As with the other pieces, it is made from walrus ivory, but has a darker color. Cater said the new Lewis Warder's dark tone clearly has the potential to offer valuable and fresh insights into how other Lewis chessmen may have looked in the past. There is certainly more to the story of this warder still to be told. Crazy, right? The significance of the Lewis chessmen. The Lewis chessmen caused a sensation when they were unearthed on the Isle of Lewis in the Scottish Hebrides in the 1830s, and are without a doubt the best known Scottish archaeological find. The pieces are believed to have been made in Scandinavia, most likely Norway, during the 12th century. The four sets include seated kings and queens, bishops, knights, and pawns, along with standing warders, which have since been replaced by rooks in modern chess. They are now among the most popular attractions at the British Museum and the National Museum of Scotland in Edinburgh, while souvenir replicas are sold in tourist shops, including at Trondheim's Nidaros Cathedral. However, one knight and four warders have been missing from the original discovery. So yeah, that's right, because I think it's 32 pieces and 5 pieces were missing, which is why it's so valuable. Because if the complete set is unearthed, then I mean it's like, you know, the Holy Grail. Discovered in a sandbank. While it's known that the pieces were discovered in a sandbank at Camas Uig Bay on Lewis by local Malcolm MacLeod, how they got there is shrouded in mystery. One hypothesis is that visiting Norsemen buried the collection to avoid paying taxes on them. Kate Kona, right? Avoid paying taxes, the American way. Perhaps some, broken or decayed, were left behind in that sandbank or assist by whoever discovered them. Written accounts of the finds are contradictory, said Nancy Murray Brown in her book Ivory Vikings. Whatever their story, their very existence questions the economics of the time. The Vikings' impact on Scotland, the struggle the Norse people had in fully adopting Christianity, and the dominance of the Norse world on the region until well into the Middle Ages. The search is on for the 4 remaining missing pieces. The distinctive pieces should be easy to identify. Hold this thoughtful little queen in your hand, and it's easy to become enthralled, said Brown. That's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy. July 4th, the value of the sell has been corrected. Yeah. So basically, this one piece sold for $1 million. Basically $1 million. Insane, right? Insane. So all right. Let's go back to the video now. 1 million for incomplete chess set. That's just for one piece. The whole chess set is probably worth, like, Lord only knows how much money it is. It's got to be. I mean, I would guess if it's 1 million for that single piece, it's got to be, the set alone has to be worth at least like $15 to $20 million, at least, if not more. So let's keep going.
The only style allowed in international competition today. Pieces used in the championship match have an electronic coil, making it possible to track and broadcast each player's move. A full set with this tracking component costs about $700 more.
Well, okay, I mean, first of all, I'm pretty sure that all chess sets that work with DGT boards have this, so this is not like some special feature to this set, because all pieces that you can use with DGT boards have this capability, I believe.
The weight of each piece, along with the felt bottom, are two more significant factors that affect the game. Both make the chessmen easier to use, effectively upping their value.
If the pieces are properly weighted, then they do not fall while you are moving the pieces on the boards, and also it gives a very nice and a special feel to a chessman.
Some chessmen must be dyed black and dried for 10 days. All of the pieces are buffed and polished 3 times before they're assessed for quality. Chess has been played for over 1,000 years, with some form of the game.
Yeah, see, these are the Lewis Chessmen, by the way, these sets. Yeah, they said buffed, which is really funny. But no, I was just laughing because I mean, what they're saying is right, but they're slightly exaggerating. I mean, it's very well done, but they are slightly exaggerating when they say that they're saying it makes some difference. Like it's like, you know, the piece might fall over and it's like they're acting like you're going to lose the game because the piece falls over. Sure, you might lose a little bit of time and things might happen, but it's not like life and death. Like it's just it's a minor issue. Okay, so let's keep going.
In India around the 6th century. Over the past 2 centuries, high-level competitions have drawn international interest in the game. Today, tournaments continue to keep the game popular, as do displays of these competitions in the media. The release of the limited series The Queen's Gambit on Netflix sent sales of chess sets skyrocketing in November 2020.
Look at that.
Although this demand
Nice.
is a positive for the industry, it also poses a challenge to chess producers like Aditya.
It is very difficult to find good quality skilled carvers for manufacturing chessmen. And even after 4 to 5 months, 6 months, we don't know if the carver would be good enough to carve a nice chessman. So nobody wants to spend so much of time and realize that he was not able to carve the desired quality of chessmen.
Without enough experienced carvers, these sets could become more difficult to produce. And it's fair to expect that $500 sets like these, and similarly hand-carved ones, could get even pricier in the future.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me sort of the this reminds me of kind of the problem with like the problem with the entire world, frankly, at this point. Whereas anything that's like old world, like these things that require like sort of is it manual labor? Is that the right word? These things that are very labor intensive are dying slowly for this exact reason. Like, again, the span of interest and the time that people have like is getting less and less, so people don't want to spend months and months on something when there's no guaranteed return. Skilled labor, yeah, manual skilled labor, yeah. So like it kind of is an issue, I think, for the world in general as we go forward. Because it doesn't just apply to chess, it applies to so many things that are like wooden. Like I was thinking about, like, it's like if I go to a local like furniture store, like, and I look at things that like, you know, just like wooden frames for like beds or these sorts of things, generally they're pretty shoddily done these days. Like, it's not the same as like 20, 30, 40 years ago when it was much different and there were so many more things that were hand carved. So it's a problem, I think, everywhere these days. Just, you know, what's happened. But I don't know. I don't know if you can 3D print it. I'm not sure you can, is my guess. Maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe you can. You can't 3D print wood like this. Yeah, so you can't. Okay, plain and simple. I would also add, this is another thing. I really hope that the people, the skilled laborers who are doing this are getting paid their fair share, because it is pretty amazing the amount of time they spend on this. So to all those people in India, you know, it's just incredible, and I think everybody's very thankful that they keep doing this. So that's what I would add about it. Do I carry a chessboard when I travel? No, I don't. I don't carry any chessboards.